The challenge: when hiring workers to fill skills shortages, it may be that the credential an individual holds is not a reflection of their true ability for using the tools and performing the job. There is a need for a process that assesses the competence of potential employees before they are hired, enabling employers to make informed decisions on hiring and gauge the level of training needed to ensure a new hire is competent on the job. The solution? To assess the competence of workers prior to hiring, BC Hydro developed the Skills Check program for powerline technicians, PLTs, in 2006. At present, the Skills Check program is used for assessing the competence of cable splicers, electricians, and line truck operators, in addition to powerline technicians. At the heart of the Skills Check program are skills profiles comprising core competencies for each trade group.
Well, the primary gap we were trying to address with the Skills Check program was to find out what the worth of the credential was. And by worth of the credential, what we meant is everybody who practices a trade and gets a credential doesn't really have exactly the same background, and we needed to match their background with what skills BC Hydro was looking for. And so the Skills Check was a way to kind of standardize against our skill set.
The Skills Check program was initially aimed at the PLT trade. It is the largest trade group that we have within BC Hydro, probably faces the most hazardous work, and the growth within that group is probably greater. We have other trade groups like electricians and cable splicers, which we want to also address.
What you do is you actually work with subject matter experts and you ask them what it is that they do in a common day or a common week or a common month, and then you regroup these activities in competencies, and then you regroup these competencies into general area of competence. And then from there, then you have a conceptual map of what the trade is like.
The workplace scenarios that we use for a Skills Check program, and I'll start at the Powerline Technician program, they're broad. They are workplace types of tasks, but they include multiple tasks or jobs that a PLT would do. As an example, we will have someone climbing a pole, but we'll have them doing tasks while they're climbing a pole, so we can evaluate multiple tasks through specific scenarios.
Well, in order to conduct skills checks, obviously you have to have a facility that mimics what the workplace will look like, but it has to mimic it in a safe and controlled environment. Now, we were lucky at BC Hydro in that we had access to a training facility, the Electrical Industry Training Institute, EITI, that is wholly owned by Local 258 of the IBW, and so we had a good working relationship with them. The evaluators for the skills checks come from two different pools of powerline technicians. We have retirees. We put them in teams, we train them to be evaluators in how to use the scoring rubric and what to look for and what the common mistakes are. And the other one are young trade experts that we use sometimes to train apprentices, for example. Workplace scenarios is what we came up with in order to have a skills check that was credible to people. And so, for example, a transformer changeout from the pole is something that PLTs do routinely. A Skills Passport is a document that we created at BC Hydro to serve two purposes. The first one was to have workers have a record of key or core competencies achievements, and the other one also was to try to put a timeline for new workers joining a headquarter. And by timeline, what I mean is, like within what period of time after joining a headquarter should we reasonably expect an individual to exhibit a particular competency.
My advice to any company going down the path of implementing a skills check program to be used for hiring would be to involve the union early, have the discussions with the union, set up scenarios that actually make sense for the work, and evaluate tasks that people will actually do in the job.